This would be Nade's 45th winter, and he could certainly feel it. The way Lamachan's familiar cold pooled at the end of his bones, stiffening and slowing. He stretched an arthritic paw in its glove. He reached again for his pouch, but thought better of it this time. The tattered flyer had nearly blown away twice now in the icy late autumn winds that snaked through the Selin Hills. It wasn't necessary anyhow. He'd spent so much time looking at it, he could probably draw the imposing typeface from memory. Wanted. He'd passed by several copies of the writ, virtually indistinguishable from the countless identical postings that litter the streets of Chesed. His thoughts were elsewhere. Survival by salvage had been more of a scrape than usual. Something had the Technic League riled. Every site he knew within 50 miles of Chitterhome was buzzing with activity. Even known played-out scores that had been picked over long before Nade was born. He was only able to manage a few silver discs worth of scrap, far less than they required, even with means so meager. Nade resecured his cloak and plodded to the postboard in hope of finding some work as a guide or a sword. Instead, he found himself staring into a face that was nearly his own. His son, astride 3 others, unknown to him, depicted in fine lithographic detail above the bold-case text. The Technic League is seeking information on the following individuals in connection to a disappearance, as well as illegal acts in Scrapwall. Information rewarded. The rest comes in fits and flashes, ripping down as many copies as he could, trading in a few favors for a teleport spell back to Chitterhome. And his relief when he pushed through their door to see Marla in bed in the same haze that he'd left her. And how she'd just weakly traced the face on the flyer with a thin finger, repeating under her breath, "Our boys," and her crooked smile when he reminded her that only one of their sons still breathed. Her bonds full of nothing but bleeding pink mists and ghosts is enough to turn anyone into a haunted house. And how she barely took notice when he moved her into his sister's house, deeper in the warrens of Chitterhome, hoping that it will keep her safe. And how he set off again that night towards Scrapwall, sleeping rough and sparsely, just him and the stars and the questions. And now, as he catches the faint scent of ozone and oxidation on the breeze, he knows he's closer to the answers that lay behind those rusted gates. Bricks, what have you done? This is Pod Against the Machine. There we go.
Pod Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pod Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that lies rotting in the sun for generations after every spaceflight. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
Oh, that's how I feel after I get off a plane.
Oof. Hello.
Hi, team.
Hello.
Greetings from the generational rot.
Imagining that as like a Aubrey
Postcard?
Park Springsteen postcard, yes. Greetings from the generational rot.
It's the first album from Ambient Meat.
Listen to the
It's really-
bloops if you don't get that
I'm gonna
one.
have to make that Photoshop now. Great.
I was just gonna say we don't have
Background.
a postcard in the story yet, so
Postcards from Ambient Meat. I like it.
Mhm.
Let's see, what happened last week on the program? The party set off in search of the Dominion of the Black. And commencing the trip to the final far-reaching edge of the Scar of the Spider, the only place that you haven't investigated before, Asuma told everyone of this rather horrifying sight that she saw on her flight from the Dominion. This huge rotting carcass of a beast that the creatures belonging to the Dominion of the Black seem to come in and out of. Like they use it like a building even though it once was alive. Since that was closer than the hive where the Dominion themselves camp out, the party decided to go check that out. Maybe see if there's any Orange Julius's hiding in that big old rotting pile. And they went and found it, flopped over in a pond, basically taking up the entire pond, except that there was still enough room left for a Lukwada, a strange jungle beast, to burst out of the water and start trying to eat everybody. And it's been doing some chomping, and the party's been doing some whacking it back, and I believe we hung it up still in combat.
But before we start, I have a confession to make. Hello, are you there, listener? It's me, Zach. You may know, in the last episode, I used an impromptu sneak attack, a feature of the Arcane Trickster that I frequently forget throughout the day. That is, if believe I'm not wearing the goggles of the sniper, delimited to the 30-foot range of a normal sneak attack. So, we should give that Lukwada like 15 hit points back or something, or drown Brixby, whichever one you would like.
4K.
That's true. Drown Brixby to give him 15
Brixby's
hit
worth
points
about 15
sacrifice.
hit points.
Oh.
Fair.
That's more than one level.
That's the Numerian metric.
Yeah.
Think about the conversion rate.
All right, so given the Lukwada back, I think you said 150 hit points. Just real quick.
Yeah, he's also hasted. I cast haste on him last round too. Of course, it's a side effect of getting your sneak attack wrong.
I want to say my turn tracker is wrong, and we're actually at the top of round 2. That's right?
I think
We closed
so.
on Kira's turn.
Yeah, round
Yes.
2.
All right, we're so good at this.
Professionals.
All right, I am unpausing Foundry. It is the ugly Alowin's turn at the top of round 2.
Oh, that's right. Aw. What is mean?
So mean.
Why is that
Tarazi
an
up there
option?
somewhere? Oh yeah, I see a little bit of his head poking out behind me.
He's riding
Yeah.
the larger snake.
Okay, so I couldn't remember if I cast haste or not, but I don't have it ticked off on my used spells or on my thing, so I'm assuming I didn't, so that is going to be what I do this turn. So, Tarazi, Levi, and Brixby are all close enough and can tick on haste, and if Kira is not raging, she can also tick on haste. And that will be his turn. He is not going to get any closer to this thing.
Why?
Just know why.
That just seems wrong.
You know why.
All right. Well, Asuma, I think, since she is very far away and was too far to get that haste, is gonna jog out, splashing her way into the water to get a clean shot that's not through 2 snakes and a half-orc. And she's gonna take a shot at the Lukwada. And yeah, that's definitely gonna hit. Not too bad. Basically, Brixby's sneak attack redone. Which does bring us to the wonderful monster. Now, the wonderful, big, huge monster would totally be better at fighting you if you were all a boat. Just to let you know, like, it's good. It's extra good against boats. And it's really missing out on some class features. But let's see, it's got 3 people it can see, and it's only got 1 mouth, so I'm gonna roll a d6 to see who it goes after. 1, 2, Kira, 3, 4, Tarazi, and 5, 6, Levi.
Is it going to maintain the grapple?
Forgot about the grapple. You know what? I think what it's gonna do is it's gonna release that grapple. And then it's gonna go back for chomping Big Snake because it did roll a 6 on that D6. That is a 42 to hit.
Yeah, that will hit.
It's good at hitting. It's very sad that this thing only gets the one bite because it is such a big bite. So the damage on that bite is a 36.
And with that Luquata bite, Levi is permanently dead.
Oh my god. Oh,
Your
damn.
magic number was 27.
Oh my
What?
crap. I didn't realize he was that low. Oh jeez, I should have done a ranged low-level heal. Crap.
Well, the Luquata will not try to grab Levi on account of that job having been done. That brings us to Tarazi's turn.
Tarazi will, I guess, so you tell me. Tarazi was riding a mount that died underneath him. Would I get like a ride check to try and dismount, or do I have to stand up from prone?
I think
Or would I just be on the water? I don't know how this is working.
I think you get a ride check basically to prevent falling prone. I don't imagine it's that far of a fall from the back of a snake, logically.
No, let me see if I can find that DC. I rolled a 21, which feels like a maybe.
15 for a softball.
All right. So I think a mixture of sadness and fury. Yeah, Tarazi will unleash some sickened null blade strikes. Does a 28 hit?
A 28 hits.
That's the only one that's even close enough for me to ask. That is 19 points of damage.
Right? That is a big chunk of what it had remaining, but it is still up. Is Tarazi going anywhere? Or staying put?
No, he's gonna just, maybe he'll, I don't think he can actually 5-foot step in the water, so, no, he'll just stay.
Alright, that does bring up Brixby.
Okay. God, I can't even imagine, because I'm sure because Levi swims, seeing whatever happened that put him below the surface looked terrible, and there's literally nothing Brixby can do about it. Brixby is going to move 30 feet closer. And for the first time, he is going to use an impromptu sneak attack of this combat. And he is going to cast his last of his Scorching Rays. Everything else is Fiery Shuriken after this. So, I am going to shoot out 3 rays. Would you like my spell?
Yeah, spell resistance.
Resistance roll first. That is on your just a spreadsheet with buttons. Sponsor us, Eurolab. Alright, so plus 16 versus SR. Okay, 16 on the die, plus a 16, that is a 32 versus SR.
That will pass.
Ready, and I gotta make sure that I am hasted. Cool. I'm hasted. So that means I am making 3 of these. That's a series of rolls right there. That is a 19 versus touch, a 12 versus touch with a natural 1 on the die, so that doesn't hit at all, and an 17 versus touch.
Well, it's a very big boy, so you got 2 hits there.
Yay! And the first one, which is inevitably the one that is going to have the sneak attack, is one of the ones that hit, so that is good. So I am going to do all of this together. Oh, there's some 5s in there. So that is 48 points of fire and sneak attack damage.
That is enough to bring down this giant tropical reptile. You're out of combat.
So I assume Brixby just doesn't know that Levi is, like, not just knocked out. So I think he's going to be like, is Levi down?
Yeah, I think Alwyn's going to go over and try to heal him. I think he would, seeing him go down like that, I think he would hit him with a cure crit if Tarazi doesn't say anything. I think he would just walk up and hit him with his highest cure spell because he saw him go unconscious, he assumes.
Tarazi would interpose. And he doesn't have words right now. He just shakes his head. You could tell, I don't know if Nagaji can't have the capacity to cry, but I assume he does. Just shakes his head.
Alwyn will pull his hand back and kind of bow his head down.
Tarazi, this may be within, to bring Levi back, I mean, to undo this, may be within the power of either Hater or someone in the Arden Bay. We have time.
We've had friends. This has happened before. We can fix this. It's not too late. Mechanically, I don't know that it can be fixed. I don't know enough things.
Yeah, we just need a druid, hunter, paladin, or ranger who can cast 4th level spells, and I'm 2 levels out. So it would be possible for maybe one of the twins to
I was going to say
cast
the
it.
trash druids, yeah.
The trash druids.
That's going back a little ways.
Yeah. Trash speakers, that's it. It took me a while. I was like, trash cans. Nope. Yeah, I mean...
Is he still able to cast that spell to make him transportable if he's not alive? Does that still work?
Oof. Carry companion?
Yeah.
I'm assuming I think you have to be living because it talks about if it's damaged, then, while it's in a statue form, then the actual snake is damaged also.
Because I don't want to just leave him sitting out here in this place because something's going to end up, like one of those friggin' trees or something is going to come and eat him. Like, I don't know.
You touch an animal or magical beast, blah, 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 figure of stone. Must be willing. I think you can be willing if you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also, like, kind of painful to say this, but the way that Pathfinder mechanically views the dead, they believe an object or a corpse depending on the spell. Like, if it is a corpse-related spell, like, speak with that gentle repose, or something that can only affect a... But, that doesn't mean I couldn't teleport with him, right?
He doesn't count against your unless you... Some monsters often have a weight limit for what they can bring with them, but that's not... I don't think that's the case in the actual spell.
Let me triple check, because clearly I am not to be trusted, but I'm reading these. Let's see. You can bring objects along as long as their weight doesn't exceed the maximum load. So, that's anybody's maximum load, though. So, like, couldn't theoretically, like, Tarazi and Kira, who are both jacked, just hold this heavy snake.
Yeah. Yeah, because didn't we
Presumably.
figure out before that Kira's maximum load is like the size of a small sedan?
Yeah, it's like
It's
while
like
she's
the size
raging,
of a small
it's like
sun.
while it's raging, it's in the thousands. While she's
Yeah.
raging, it's in the
Yeah, it
thousands.
was like 3 or 4 tons when she's raging.
Only one of us fabricates the reality with which we move through.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can bring him with you on a teleport.
Very kind.
I don't
Alrighty.
know if we just want to take him to Pater's real quick and then come back here and continue fighting, like, I don't want to leave him sitting out in the water.
Yeah, no, we should do it now.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think
Yeah.
when I say okie dokie, I think that like we should go do it this moment. We need
We
Levi.
need the extra. Yeah, we need an extra person.
Oh, just go straight to Idenvay now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're prepared for the day, but like I gotta be real, this is one of the first times that there are some APs where like time is less of an issue, and this is one of the few times where we are rushing to get to that Orange Julius before it closes or someone else drinks it, because it's a zero-sum Orange Julius. But like at the same time, I don't know if necessarily stopping and rezzing one of our best martial fighters, like I mean, I don't know how to say that. You're all exceptional. All 3 of our fantastic martial fighters. We need you all to survive.
Yeah, I think there's no reason in game why we wouldn't.
We could get him magic fanged while we're in town, too.
Love that plan.
Oh, yeah. He's back and upgraded.
Yeah, let's
So
do
we
it
need to
now.
that. We need Mecha Levi.
Temporary negative or
$6
permanent
million
negative level.
snake.
But
And this is why, like, every place in, like, Book 5 and Book 6 is going to be like, oh, man, you just, like, can't teleport out of here. Oh, man.
You know Paizo's tricks
It's
too
so
well.
crazy.
That's like, I mean, yes. So let's just like love this while we have it, so we can bring somebody back or use
Weirdly,
this while
there's
we
a
have it.
permanent dimensional anchor rune cast every 10 feet in this entire dungeon.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil other APs for other people, but that's like book 5, 6 of every freaking AP. So let's get it in now, kids. Bring this snake back.
Yeah, let's
All right.
let's go back to Idenvay then.
Let's do it.
I will pay whatever cost is necessary. It's worth every copper, platinum.
And
46.
Alwyn can cast restoration on him right away as soon as he's back too, because I still have all my spells for the day.
Asuma, while you're talking about this, Asuma, I'll hide near here and make myself scarce. Wait for you to return.
Don't we? Oh no, but the trip back we wouldn't. That's right.
Yeah, and it's in general, she can maybe. Oh, you know what? I am going to give before we leave. Azuma, come here. Asuma, come here. I definitely know how to pronounce your name. Like months into this game, and he's going to give her his potion of invisibility that he's had since like book 1.
Aw.
Hide yourself. You're just as important as everyone else here. And Levi was part of this team. Tarazi, we're all paying. He's saved all of our lives countless times, and we don't need another speech from me, but keep yourself safe. And let's go.
I won't.
And then he rolls a 46. Oh, sorry. I don't care about your response. And he just literally disappears while
Yeah,
Asuma
while
is like,
she's speaking, they just disappear, leaving her standing
Okay, bye.
in the water. But with the 46, you're able to safely transport to Idenvay. Where specifically are you aiming?
I think it's heck. Do we want to go to like the hall, the Red Tooth's place?
Yeah, like
Yes.
the meeting hall at the town hall, whatever
The
that's
high
called.
home?
I only yes, I
High
only
home.
remember its
Yeah.
floor. It's
Yeah, the diner.
it's the black and white tiles of High Home.
Mhm.
That's what I visualize as I close my eyes.
Idenvay's famous greasy spoon.
So you successfully reappear in the halls of Highhome, which I do not have converted onto
I was
Foundry.
going to say, do we have that in Foundry?
They're back in Roll20.
So everyone switch over to Roll20.
But it looks much as you remember it. I think there are just a couple of people hanging out there that look rather surprised to see the lot of you appear, especially given the condition of Levi. Red Fang doesn't appear to be about, just a couple other like locals. Of course, the Yaogoi head is still up, mounted on the wall. Looks like somebody's done some work to preserve it so it didn't, fall into a stinking mess in ensuing days.
Tasteful really ties the diner together.
Oh, yeah.
But, of course, our players share a mirth that is not shared by our avatars. We're sad.
And Tarazi's the one person here who wouldn't know the druids by name or that they're even here. He just trusts that you guys know somebody.
Yeah, the only person in town you've met is brother... what's his name? Darvich? Yeah.
You, Darvish.
There are brothers here. Druids. They are... Well, they're not very pleasant, but they are rather powerful. So, yes. Their names are Thelpkin and Kifkin. That certainly did not come from Jeff's impeccable note-taking.
And from previous visits to Idenvay that their cabins are out sort of on the northwestern side of town, like kind of just inside the wall out in the fields and the weird kind of place where they collect all their trash and everything.
So we'll head out there?
And I think...
Or not.
If you're not doing anything to disguise your chainsaw this time around and the various technological accoutrements that everyone has, you definitely get some concerned looks as you walk through town, and like people are sort of whispering to each other and rushing off into buildings as you walk by. Nobody confronting the lot of you because they're familiar with your work, but you definitely see a different vibe from the town as you go through with your technology in hand.
Alwyn, just tell them very dangerous technology collection. Bring out your dangerous technology to be destroyed, like we're doing.
Yeah, so Alwyn gets out his plague bell and starts dinging that. Bring out your tech. Bring out your tech.
Are you prepared to make a bluff check against the entire town right now?
You got this.
I
would like to aid.
The strongest person we've met in this place is like level 6, so yes, I am.
Well, we better hope they're a little higher because of the spell we need.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That is a 12 on the die for a 25 bluff.
Oh, I'll keep that in mind when I'm figuring out
You're rolling for all the level 0 villagers.
how Idenvay as a town deals with seeing the former heroes come through with a big pile of technology. One thing that this town hates above all other things, other than whatever Hosket tells them to hate.
Do they also hate being alive?
Well, like I said, they're not confronting you. They know the deal.
Roll intimidate first the entire town.
So nobody gives you any direct trouble as you make your way across the town over to the trash keepers or trash speakers cabins, which are of course 2 separate cabins that are positioned such that none of their windows face each other, so that neither one can see the other when they're home. But you do see, as you come up, two male half-elves in the sort of requisite dirty brown leaf-covered kind of druidy gear working in separate fields like there's a waist-high wall between them, and they're very studiously not looking at one another as they go about their druidy business.
Do they look like they've leveled up from 6 to 7?
That's hard to say. I mean, they did have a little bit of an adventure with you.
I was going to say, they fought like 900 Zil. I'm hoping they leveled up.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Yeah. For those of you listening to it backwards.
People that haven't listened to previous episodes.
Wait, I was going to say, wait a minute. How are we spoiling something that happened like 40 episodes ago on this show?
Well, as Steve from Hideous Laughter says, every episode is someone's first episode. So.
That's true. Yeah.
Hark. Friends?
The two of them stop and they look over and do kind of a wide eyes, and then one of them scratches his head and he goes, "Ah! It's been a while. Good to see you." And then the other one goes, "No, it's good for me to see you. It's bad for Thelpin to see you. Never mind him. What can we do for you?" What can I do for you? Not Thelpin. Thelpin's useless.
This is our companion Tarazi and his companion Levi, who needs your help if either of you can give it. Can either of you resurrect a deceased animal companion?
And Kifkin sort of looks a little bit crestfallen, looks down, looks over at Thelpin, and then Thelpin, meanwhile, is walking over, cleaning some of the dirt off of his hands, and says, "Oh, I can. I certainly can. You know, some of us are more skilled with the magics of our world than others. You know, some of us may have neglected our studies for years and years, but not talking about anyone in particular. Now, let's see. It will require a sizable amount of diamond dust if you No, I'm not being greedy here when I say I do need the money for that sort of thing.
Oh,
We give him 1,000 gold pieces.
Yeah. And Alwyn will say, "I understand completely. I have a spell, though it's not as powerful, also requires diamond dust in order to work."
And he will take the diamond dust and say, all right, let me see. Let me just Kifkin, why don't you go get us some tea? Yes, make yourself useful since you won't be doing anything else of value today. Kifkin is muttering as he stomps his way off into his cabin. You don't think he'll likely be returning with tea. And Thelpin hoists himself up over the rock wall to come and view Levi. Maybe he makes a little bit of a face when he sees that this is an aberrant, drippy sort of snake that he's dealing with. But he doesn't say anything about it. He'll take the diamond dust and he'll begin, sort of drawing a pattern on the ground in the dust around Levi's head and muttering incantations and moving his hands very slowly, very deliberately as he invokes the power of the natural world itself. And it takes just a little bit of time. It takes him about a minute of just going through this ritual that, magically speaking, doesn't look like the holy magic of Brother Derviach or like the arcane magic that you guys do. It's its own thing. It's more like what Tarazi does, honestly. But by the time he's finished, the sort of green light seeps up from the ground and seeps into Levi's body and sort of, it's almost liquid, the quality to it, so it's almost like his flesh as it runs out of the earth itself into him. And if he chooses in this moment to come back, Levi can breathe again.
And yeah, the liquid-boned goopy snake just kind of shudders to life as he gasps a lung full of air, and Tarazi is just overjoyed and thanks the incomparable power of this druid who, unlike other druids, was able to perform this magic.
And you said that works like resurrection, where they have the negative level?
It's equivalent to raise dead.
Yeah, or raise dead, yeah. Then Alwyn will say to... Which one was it that stayed again?
Thelpin.
Thelpin. Alwyn will say to Thelpin, would it also be possible to buy some more of that diamond dust off of you so that I can heal him back up to his full strength? And I'm basically asking for the equivalent cost of the diamond dust for me to cast restoration.
I think he'll sell it to you. He'll sell it to you at cost.
Yeah, so that's 2,000 we got to mark off altogether then. Okay. And Alwyn, taking the dust, is then going to sprinkle it over the goopy snake and cast resurrection, removing his negative level. Or restoration, I mean, not resurrection. Alwyn secretly gained 2 levels while we were traveling.
Which, if I'm reading right, will also let me remove ability score damage from one ability score. And I would choose Constitution, please.
You can remove up to, I think it's a D4, I believe.
That's less. This is just all points from a single ability.
Oh, wait, no, this is full restoration, yes, so it does all of them in one, yes.
So,
Yep.
Khan is back, baby.
Yeah.
I guess, like, while this process is happening, Brixby has closed his eyes and he is muttering prayers to Desna, that Levi sees whatever the equivalent of his green moth that wants to bring him back to the people that love him, which is us. And he is very overjoyed to see his snake friend open his eyes and kind of goops into him a little bit. There's a lot of passive crying and passive gooping.
Yeah, Kira gives Levi a sticker that says "Best Alive Snake," and then turns to Tarazi and says, "I'm so sorry."
No, I agree. Thank you, Kira. I'm glad Michael's had that sticker.
It's a Joanne's purchase, but thank you.
Oh, that's right, of course. I remember. Silly me.
The only meta we allow is this continued banter between Jeff and Izzy via avatars.
No, which is great because canonically, Tarazi, when he met Kira, recognized her from the customer of the month at Joanne's where he does his own shopping. So I just blame the grief and the player thinking he's funny.
If I'm not too forward, while we're here, there's actually a bit of magic that we could perform for Levi that would enchant his attacks to allow him to strike as one of your magical weapons.
Like a sort of magic fang sort of thing?
Yeah, we were wondering if possibly we could get a scroll of this from you. Because Sam, inevitably the idea is that Magic Fang is something that we could permanency on Levi. So we could purchase a scroll of permanency while we're here. And then we can eventually bestow Levi, provided that I make a very important use magic device roll. Maybe we buy a couple scrolls of Magic Fang.
You want Magic
And is
Fang
that-
or Greater Magic Fang?
I don't think I can't cast Greater Magic Fang as a... There's a limit of how high a spell you can cast as a permanency based off of my caster
It's
level.
also not on your class list.
Yeah, so this is the weird one. Can we do that? Can I cast like a spell of like a scroll of Magic Fang with permanency since it's a permanency spell? Or do we have to find a druid? Because is permanency a druid spell as well?
I have no idea.
Well, couldn't you just use
Arcanist, Psychic, Sorcerer, Wizard.
Okay, yeah, so...
yeah, so there's no overlap, so...
But it's also on the list of permanency,
Yeah, so
which is
I'm
so
saying
weird.
it has to be independent of you being able to cast
Ah.
the spell you're permanencying.
Okay, yeah. That totally makes sense.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm guessing here, like logically speaking, either you would use Magic Device to cast the Greater Magic Fang or Magic Fang, sorry, or Tarazi would cast it, and then you cast permanency on it once it's already active, and that's how it works.
Oh, tight. Okay, yeah. So yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I would say let Tarazi cast it just so you don't risk a bad roll on the
same,
UMD.
yeah.
Yeah.
or like buying unnecessary scrolls. Okay, yeah.
Sure,
So we
okay.
just have to purchase a very expensive scroll of permanency, but it is doable, provided that they haven't shuttered all of their shops to us out of fear at this point.
They'll open them again.
Rolls an intimidate check versus the entire town.
Yeah, I'm not. We saved them. I'm not standing for this.
We're heroes, and we will make sure you know that.
Dang it.
So, yeah, if possible, if it is possible to... because we've purchased the 5th level spell from here before. If we could purchase the spell permanency, which is wild magic, for sure. Not in the, like...
Yeah, Idenvate's got a pretty high spell level cap. It's just their gold cap, but a level 5 scroll, I think, should be under it.
Yeah, they have
So this-
casting up to level 6.
This is 1375 in total.
Oof.
And then on top of that, the GP cost to add Magic Fang is going to be another 2,500.
Yeah.
But I mean, in total, at the end of the day, that is not only can permanency be recast for other spells on other people in this party later, which is neat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll control the ability to do that when we are inevitably denied the ability to go to towns. But, you know, ultimately having Levi being able to strike with magic all the time is pretty vital. Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of note,
I mean, we're
I can say it now that it's dead. That wouldn't have helped you against the Luquata because it had DR against magical attacks. Only non-magical bludgeoning got through its DR. Which I've never seen before.
weird. I was like, is this a joke?
I was wondering how we were doing so much damage to that thing. Because, like, I was trying to keep track in my head, like, we gotta be close to killing this thing, because we were at, like, 200 plus. But if it was resisting, like, basically everything we were hitting it with, then that makes a lot more sense.
Zach, you said 2,500 for the 2 things?
Oh, the 2 things together would be 3,875.
3,875. Great.
Yeah, and I have that prepared daily, so that's easy enough to cast. If it wasn't so much more expensive, it's like Tarazi could cast greater, but that's an extra 5,000 gold.
Yeah, I'm also not I think I have to, no, I am. Yeah, I guess I could, because I am caster level 11th. We could always up it up later, you know.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the higher your caster level, Tarazi, the better the effect, greater would be. Maybe later on.
Yeah.
Sure.
That makes sense. So let's, the reality is logistically, he's still going to have to copy this into his spellbook. So we aren't going to be able to accomplish this before going into the Dominion of the Black unless Brixby looks up from Levi and to everyone around, says, we can take this moment to permanently enchant him. I just need a spell, so just give me a moment. And Brixby runs off with purpose, scurrying off to purchase a scroll of permanency, and sticks his head back in and says, I am going to need a very long time to put this inside of my book, so I'm going to head back to High Home. Again, Levi, we're glad you're back. And he discs away. Takes his VMods off, too, just to gaslight everybody.
Right, and smash cut to just like a thicket back in the scar of the spider. Suma just kind of sitting there, not whistling because she doesn't want to make noise, kind of fidgeting a little bit. And smash cut back to Eidenvey, where Kira and Alwyn have some free time in town.
Yeah, I was going to say Kira is going to offer to take Alwyn for some froyo.
Yeah, we find the frozen yogurt shop. Because oddly enough, the one piece of technology they're okay with is a freezer.
Oh, it's a magical freezer.
Yeah, it uses cold stones like Codex Alera. In fact, it's actually called Cold Stone Creamery, but it has a different copyright because it's using cold stones.
Yeah. Its creamery ends with an I.
It's a cold period stone period.
So first you get your yogurt, right? And then you can go over here and add all these toppings. They do charge you by weight, but you can get away with it if you just don't care about how much you're spending.
Oh, what do you usually put on yours?
What don't I usually put on mine? I like cereal, fruits, candies.
Beets.
Beets, obviously beets.
Well, the primary flavor of the yogurt, I think, is beet.
Well, you can do a beet on beet yogurt. That's okay.
Never too many beets.
Yeah, so Alwyn gets his frozen yogurt. He just gets like plain vanilla, and he just puts some sprinkles on it and maybe like a single gummy bear.
Kira's profoundly disappointed.
Kira has like 12 pounds of candy.
1,000 gold.
Yeah, we got the same size cup, but hers costs like 10 times as much because of the toppings.
Theoretically, there's yogurt in there, but you can't see it.
Yeah, it's mostly a cup of candy. And then they make their way about the town, and no one bothers them.
Yeah.
Kira has a running chainsaw.
And I think we maybe stop in at a couple places. Alwyn maybe tries to find someone willing to buy that second robe of arcane heritage that we found. I imagine we got to go to a couple different places because that's an expensive bit of clothing. And I think he just is also just eating his ice cream, and he might ask Kira, I think at one point he says, I never asked you. I talked at length with Brixby about it, and Asher too, before, and he kind of looks down for a second, before he passed. But what god do you worship, if you do worship one?
Kira thoughtfully eats 3 gummy worms in rapid succession. I guess I never really thought about it. I mostly just ask my mom about things I don't understand. Is my mom a god? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, then I guess nobody. I don't really know what makes someone a god. Brixby has that flying moth person, but I don't think they're a god either. It's kind of confusing, isn't it?
It really is. When I was in the colony, when I was growing up, I thought I understood what made someone a god, but now I don't. It's a lot, well, like you said, it's a lot more confusing than I thought it was originally.
What did you think made someone a god?
I thought if someone was a god, they just were. And when they talked about the people outside of the colony and the things they worshipped, I didn't think they were gods, but the more I've seen about here, it's like there's a spectrum of it. There are things that are certainly much stronger than you or I that, by all rights, I can understand why anyone would call them a god, even if they're not what we would have worshipped back in the colony. And I don't think I really understood that before, but it makes more sense now. And I understand what Asher saw in his god now, I think, more than I did in the past.
Kira thinks for a second and kind of nods. I think it has to be more than strength that makes you a god. I've known a lot of really strong people. But maybe there's something else that we can't see. Not even you.
Maybe there is. Well, you remember in the tower, in the oven, right?
Kira nods.
I don't know what I saw, but I think I saw part of an answer. I saw many different things that different people call gods, and I understood sort of both why some people think they are and others think they aren't. And the only problem is it gave me more questions than answers, because it made me understand both sides of it. There are certainly reasons I can understand why people worship them, but there are other reasons that I could see where they were different, but not what I would call divine, but now I don't even know what I would call divine.
And Kira's quiet for a little bit and then says, well, I know all of my friends worshipped gods, and bad things keep happening to them, so maybe the answer is maybe we should trust ourselves. I mean, it wasn't enough for Asher, but now I know more things. And maybe it'll be enough for us.
And he kind of looks at her after that, just, not really any expression on his face for a little while. Probably just long enough that it starts to get a little creepy. And then he just nods and says, I think maybe you're right. I think I'm glad that I come out here and met you and Brixby and Asher and Tarazi. I think Mother Lucia would have liked all of you. And I think meeting people like you are the reason that she said I should travel.
Kira gives an abrupt hug that probably knocks him right off his feet.
Yeah, it probably startles him. He probably was not expecting to be hugged. But I think after a second he would hug back. Kings.
And Kira cuts a nearby sign in half. Just... She's tired of the disrespect from these people.
Some villagers scream and run away.
It's specifically a sign that says no technology. It's just a chainsaw with like a no symbol through it and cut right along the diagonal of the red
Yeah.
slash.
That's right, and keep running. We're entering my chaotic neutral phase. Too many people have died. We're no longer good.
I imagine in this time, Tarazi and Levi have been spending it together.
Yeah, I think we all meet back up in our designated meeting spot that we totally
Which
have.
is high home, because that's where Brix is. He kind of can't go anywhere else anyway.
Mhm.
So, and much like his player, he has been reading a lot about permanency. One thing, and I'm happy to let Sam know this, because we will just pay it again, but it can be dispelled. A permanent spell on, like a cast on another target, can be dispelled. Like through a normal dispel magic. It just changes the duration to permanent. But I mean, at the same time, not to get into like some sort of arms race between dispel magic and 2,500 gold. But like, hopefully that isn't something that is consistently used against this. But anyway, just wanted to put that out there. How was the town?
I don't think they like us very much, and I don't care.
When I took my hood off to eat the yogurt, everybody was staring at me, and I didn't like it.
This town has always been filled with, well, small-minded people. People that we are still, it looks off, obligated to protect. But I'm sorry either of you experienced that. And I hate to ask this, but we also need to get like 2,500 gold of diamond dust if we're going to do that thing to Levi. That was included in the original, just for your own. But I just kind of grabbed the scroll and skittered away. I was getting very weird looks as well, accordingly.
Well, if it's to help Levi, then I think we should do it. And we have done it. It's been done.
We will have done it.
It's in process. Progress. Will have been done.
Uber diamond dust.
Will have been accomplished in the past, in the future from now.
I was about to say, quick English major. What tense is that in?
But when will then be now? Soon.
Soon.
I think as we come to the end of the adventuring day, as with the party up at High Home, where you already know you can stay. There's plenty of beds available. Well, you can spend the night in Eidve. Nobody has to set watches, and we can star wipe the next day.
We can assume if anybody was still down HP from the sea monster fight, which I don't think anybody was. If they were, though, I had 10 million healing spells before resting.
No. That's why you gotta play that Mystic Theurge.
On the plus side, anyone who was sickened from an apple yesterday is now over it. I don't know if you want to head back to Peter's and try again.
Nah.
That scene is great. I'm excited for that one to come out in the graphic novel of them passing around a single apple and being like, oh man, you gotta try this.
So I think like Brixby literally wakes up with his face in his spellbook, like with some ink like on his fur. And he like looks down at the pages of work that he did over the past like 10 hours. And there's something that like he has magic that is technically more powerful than this in terms of arbitrary spell level. But this is something that can make a spell last forever. And I think he just kind of takes a really quiet pleasure in knowing that something can last that long.
So, should we go back now? Or do we need more time here?
We just need some, that diamond dust, but aside from that, I can bring us back. Probably to Peter's, just to be safe. I don't know any other part nearly as well.
Yeah, I'd hate to risk rolling on scene once on the corpse and end up teleporting inside somewhere.
Ew.
You think that Sam would be that nice?
No.
Teleported to any giant corpse in the entire universe. That's a lot of leeway.
That's for Lilliputian arc as tiny people in a different giant corpse. But I guess with that, if everyone is ready to go, do we want to do the thing right here, right now? It's gonna take about, I don't know, 10 or 12 seconds. I just need the diamond dust. And you to cast the spell as he points at Tarazi.
Let's take care of it at Peter's. Appreciative of the trash speaker's assistance greatly, but other than that, I don't really care for this town. If you're willing to bring us to Peter's first, I'd be happy to cast the spell on good Levi here once we've arrived.
All right, everybody, group hug. And, yep, teleport is just a verbal-only component spell. So we go. That's an
group hug.
87, but we're still looking good, I believe. Let me just triple check here. I believe that's fine. 87. Yeah. I would describe this as a seen casually place. If we have viewed once, seen casually, studied carefully, very familiar, and familiar. This is probably seen casually.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
But yeah, we're still good, but only by one.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, if we had gotten to studied carefully, which I can read the thresholds later or whatever. But yeah, no, that's 1 to 88. And then we would have been off target. Not terrible. We would have just been somewhere like, I don't know, a couple miles away.
I mean, I'd argue a place we've spent watches at and stayed there multiple nights is more than casual, but...
Let's see, studied carefully.
I'm not the wizard.
I guess you've been there often. It's just hard to say. Like, it's not a place that we've been very often and feel at home. That is previously what I would consider... I mean,
we
I
slept
would...
there a couple times.
Yeah, I think that, okay, so if the threshold for studied carefully is a place you know well because you can currently physically see it, or you've been there often, and seen casually is a place that you've seen more than once, but with which you're not very familiar, it's up to really Sam if we've crossed the threshold.
I think you're pretty familiar with Pater's. You know the smell. You've eaten the food. You spent a couple nights
You know which
there.
compost pile is our spaceship.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the first night we spent there, we did like watches because we didn't have the thing yet, right?
We've done a couple watches, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've done a couple watches there.
Yeah.
And you had a late night fight there just yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because like even just the most recent night, we didn't bother to sleep inside the ship, and that's when the shadow demon attacked us. So we spent like hours on hours looking around there. Yeah.
And that's it. Brixby also wants to eat his paste this morning. if possible, and hopefully not screw that up and do his like Simon puzzle box thing. I have to beat a DC 12 with a +6 off a D20 roll.
Gotta play his connection.
Ooh.
Whew. Yeah, he literally solved Wordle in 6 with a 13, which allows him to progress to the
dang.
next day.
That is
He
close.
didn't get the spangram first.
Never. That's why you take a screenshot. I'm telling all my secrets. Anyway.
All right, well.
What's Pater doing?
Pater is up nice and early. He is tending his garden. And he's not in the least bit surprised to see you all appear again. And he's just like humming a totally discordant tune to himself as he hobbles around the garden.
Hey, Peter.
Hello there.
What's going on with you?
Hello.
Oh, you know, same old, same old. We're, today feels like a rainy day. He holds a finger up in the air. Then there's no sign of rain at all, but he just stands there like holding up a finger like he's testing the wind. And he goes, yep. 2-3 inches of rain at least.
Well, that should make watering the plants pretty easy.
You'd think. But what if it rains too much? What if all the plants wash away? It's tough business.
Hallowan's gonna look up at the sky, and can he make a nature check? And see if maybe Pater is noticing something we aren't because he's more used to this place?
I believe it's a survival check to predict the weather.
Or if it's just his normal eccentricities. Oh, it is survival? Ooh, okay. So my nature is a +6. My survival is a -1.
No.
So this is going to be interesting. That is a 9 for an 8. Does Alwyn notice like any changes in the air pressure or anything that he thinks maybe Pater saw that makes him think it's gonna rain with an 8?
I don't think so. Can't really tell anything, but you can only see 60 feet into the air, so can you really see the sky?
Oh yeah, true. That's right. He looks up and he can't see.
And you just stops the trees.
Yeah,
Which is real
DC
interesting
15.
with the one class ability that he has, where he can always know where he is from looking at the night sky, considering he can't see the sky.
So should we go pick up Azuma? Oh, or do we want to cast the spell first?
Let's do some magic time.
Yeah, let's cast the spell. Magic time. So Brixby takes the, like, I don't even know, a 2,500 gold. So like a dime bag? What does that look like? Worth of diamond dust, I mean.
It's a Crown Royal bag, I'm pretty sure.
Crown Royal bag full of diamond dust.
Just dumps the purple velvet bag of diamond dust onto the snake.
As
It's cut with a lot of flour, but
First one you dump out is just filled with dice, and you're like, ooh, wrong one.
no, that one's subway tokens.
oh man,
Subway tokens.
Looks at 2 rolled ones and says, snake eyes! And then Levi threatens to bite him. And then he looks at Tarazi and says, please cast the spell.
yeah, it does the verbal and somatic components, and the verbals play something like Heidi Bitey, Sharpie, Teethy. Yeah, he casts Magic Fang. It would ordinarily last, like 8 minutes, but instead I think it's going to last forever.
And with that, I think that Brixby probably starts drawing like a long kind of oblong circle around Levi and then puts the remainder of the diamond dust in his hand and is like, this is the longest spell you've seen him. No, actually, you watched Legend Lore was longer, but this is 2 full round actions, so it's 12 seconds of a lot of kind of chanting and walking, and then he blows the remaining diamond dust into Levi's open mouth. And that should do it.
Levi sneezes and the whole spell is lost. Oh.
And Brixby is covered in snot.
No.
Oh, that's it. Oh, it's literally right in, it's in permanency if they sneeze.
It's like one of those toddler right in your face sneezes.
Yeah. It's all over everything. It's just awful.
Terrible.
As Levi's mouth glows with magic forever, and Masuma waits somewhere out there in the valley. I'm going to bed.
Good night, Sam.
Night, Sam.
We finally did it. We cast Magic Mouth. Good night, Sam.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, resurrected and healthy Levi.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Pot Against the Machine is property of Network Against the Machine LLC, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are property of Paizo Publishing. See their website for more details. Theme Against the Machine was written and performed by your own Zach. See the show notes for additional music and sound licensing. If you enjoyed the show, we encourage you to leave us a review.
Audacity.
Uh-oh.
Audacity.
More like
Wave.
sound.
Microsoft Sound Mapper.
I updated Realtek for the first time in 4 years yesterday.
Developers. Not fake tech. Real tech. Took my pig.
Yeah, I ran the thing to find my latest version of my BIOS, and it's like, by the way, here's all these other things that you should have been updating and you never did. Boop.
You've probably got a demon on your hands.
Yep.
It's the only logical.
It's the what else is
Answer,
there?
really.
When you've counted out everything else.
Yeah.
Gotta be a demon.
Yep. Gotta be a demon. Seeming to be a
Who
demon.
knows? Just like when you see hoof prints in Central Park, it's a zebra. When you
Wait.
see white noise on your computer, it's a demon.
Same.
It's a semen demon. That's what
It
I
is
heard.
exactly what
No.
Zach said. It's Seemin.
I meant to
I couldn't
say.
hear
I
the
meant that I was.
apostrophe, Zach.
Yes,
Yeah, that
it
was
is
an important.
seeming
It was
to
an
be a
important
to be a
G.
demon. Boop. God, yeah, I can see myself on top of this Canadian bacon. It seems to not, and not the movie with John Candy or anything. The like ambient meat in the background.
Now
That's
that's
the
a
episode
techno
title. We got
band.
to leave that in now so that it can
Yeah,
be tight.
that's gonna use that one.
Sorry, don't you worry. I'm 4 minutes in. What really makes this sad is
Way
also my
forward.
mic stand broke, so y'all can't see me looking like I'm doing a type 5 in my garage right now, holding my mic.
I just noticed that Brixby is not on the tracker.
I see him right after Tarazi.
Oh,
As
yeah.
a 19.
It's pointed at Brixby. I'm doing really
Yeah.
good at this running thing.
You poor editor, you.
I think that's me.